Do you guys have any sports like that you watch, but only because you're betting on it? And if you don't have like any wagers in it, it's just like I don't really care. Like for me, I think it's golf.
Basketball, probably.
Baseball.
Dude, table tennis. That shit gets crazy.
You bet on table tennis?
Table tennis.
Why?
Because it was just like, all right, I wanted to add like one or two on my parlay card, and I was like, this guy's heavily favored to win like minus 2,500.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it on, and then it'll be like live on FanDuel as well, so you'll be able to watch like some of the games and shit.
Yeah.
And like those guys go crazy, dude.
But like what? I mean,
I've only done it a couple times.
I've heard people like trying to find an edge on like something, but like table tennis, I'm like, that sounds just like, hey, yeah, so and so told me that Buddy's not going to do too well tonight.
Yeah,
type of situation.
Yeah,
but
he broke the battle.
Yeah,
exactly. Sore list.
I'm shocked by that. Table tennis is out there. During COVID, I remember, and this was insanity. Sitting at home, and I was watching 24/7 3-on-3 ice hockey from Russia, and they had lines up, and it was like the virtual ponies basically, but real hockey,
just wide open spaces.
Yeah, they're just playing in a small rink, and it was nonstop all day, and they'd swap the players out.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, is that insane?
So is that a league?
I'm not anymore because I can't find it now. Like they had like Belarus 2 soccer and then this 3-on-3 thing, which I mean, you needed something to bet on. But guys, welcome to the recent episode of Sofa Kings, where we've got a lot of people here who kind of did sort of okay on our parlays. I'm just Mr. 500, but Charlie, I think you might have finally had like a half decent card.
Yeah, so I went 7-3 on my card, so I got a little lucky here, and so when I did all right on some of the hockey, and then I got destroyed on some of the NBA picks.
Damn. Well, from the Biggerman studio, I haven't had very much luck today in Kitchener, Ontario, but Rahil, how have you fared on your card?
All I'm going to say is Terry just looked at the screen and then looked back all pissed off because last episode I said I wasn't going to be last, and look at that scoreboard, baby. I don't care if it's 1, I'm not last, so I don't care about my reaction. Terry, how are we feeling at the bottom, man?
Okay. I got screwed on the challenge card. Mine was all MLB. I was just throwing darts at a board hoping for the best with my picks. So, like, I don't think that's that bad. I don't think that's that bad.
You were in last, but I don't know. Like, maybe read us through your picks and we'll kind of judge a little bit. Because I remember last week, I think Charlie and I were kind of like, there was like 1 or 2 iffy ones. So I want to know what you whiffed on.
So I think everything that was a run line, I lost on. Jays run line, Cubs run line, and there was Dodgers run line. Dodgers got clobbered.
And my Cincinnati Reds choked.
Bro.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I kind of
Terry.
tailed you on that.
Okay, so I had that game up. 4 runs in the top of the 10th.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to be kidding. Like, why do I pay attention to baseball if this is how it's going to go? I
Yeah.
was like, Jesus Christ.
But you hit the over with the Jays, right? Or what was that?
No, I think I lost on the Jays because I had the Jays like run line them favorited.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they got beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't not a
All
good week.
of what we thought were locks were the ones that pretty much lost it.
Yes. The
basically.
only thing that was a lock that hit was Colorado Rockies losing.
Right.
That was the only lock I had.
So it was
That
like Stranger Things upside down shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
See, I'm happy that I went like 5-5, whatever. That's fine. Don't get any money, but winning on the getting the win with the Canada minus 4.5 international hockey, that feels extra good. I also bet it straight twice by accident. Don't know how I did that, but I had 2 units on that one.
What was the final score of that?
I think I'm pretty sure they just covered against France.
I think it was 5-0 or something
Right.
like that. Like, it was right
Yeah.
there.
Still a great bet.
They dominated the goalie from France. Like, again, like I believe he played in the NLA, so he's not. It's not like he's playing like Sweden or in Liga in Finland. So like there was some space there. Canada also had a really good performance like earlier this week. And the Austria goal who plays in the ICHL, which is like maybe like the 7th or 8th best league in Europe,
Right.
like had an unbelievable performance for a period and a half. Then Canada started to layer them on.
Yeah.
But international hockey's been my bag. So if I get an opportunity to bet that this week, I'm gonna have to be all the way in there.
Right.
I hope his challenge card is all MLB.
I don't know what will happen if we have that.
I'm just happy that like I was at the bottom last week and I was just like for the love of God, like just don't be last and just don't go like negative on the parlay. Like I didn't want to go like 4 for 10 or anything like that.
Mhm.
The only 4 I didn't hit was the over in the Vegas Edmonton game, which like that was kind of a surprise.
Right.
But it
Yeah.
makes sense. I didn't hit the Texas Rangers minus 1.5. That was a bit of a surprise. The Padres money line missed, and then the Reds, of course, I tailed you on that, and that missed.
Yep.
But I will point out that there was one point I had like a bet for Real Madrid like a couple days later in the Spanish league, and the first time I checked, I was 5-4 at the time. So I was just like, I need this one just to go 6-4. And I looked and they were losing 1-0. Like 30 minutes in, I was just like, oh my God, Real Madrid, don't do this to me. And then like I checked like a couple hours later and they pumped 3 past the goalie, and I was just like, oh my God. I was like,
You're golden.
I just hoped someone did worse, and Terry did, but I mean, it's so neck and neck. I mean, like Charlie's the only one in front. Like Charlie, you did pretty.
Yeah, and I got a little confused because like I was thinking about my hockey ticket on the first episode, so I was actually all NBA.
Mhm.
So I had the Knicks winning, and I got the over on both the Knicks game and the Golden State Warriors game, and then I missed the over on OKC, and but I did do well on my props here. So SGA and Jokic, I got those to go through. So I did well on the NBA side. So yeah, betting at least 700 on the NBA.
Did you see those two guys flopping at each other earlier this
Yes.
week? That's
Yeah.
so like the ball just gets in his hands and in his vicinity, and then a finger just kind of like here's his chin, and he goes, "Wah!" like he'd just been shot.
So do you guys think like the NBA is kind of turned into soccer or football?
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's really gotten bad. I feel more so in the last 10 years.
Turned into, or it's always been.
No, because like the 80s and 90s,
Mhm.
like when you had like Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal,
Yeah.
like you would get decimated on the court, and like those guys would go out brawling and fighting for their territory. And now it's like you got phantom calls and trips, and like someone's just brushing you with a hand. It's just everybody's like throwing their head back like
Yeah.
it's soccer. It's
Yeah,
I can't stand shit like that.
I think they've ruined the product, to be honest with you. Like I like the documentaries about the NBA in the 80s and 90s. And then you start to get into the early 2000s, and there was still some, like, you know, it was okay. And I remember still watching the NBA as a kid growing up. And then it just got to the point where it just, like, it's not fun anymore
Right.
to watch
Yeah.
guys pretend that something happened. And it's also just annoying when you're, like, sitting there, you're trying to sweat something, your team's getting momentum, and then a phantom call, and then, you know, you see all these super teams and stuff where it used to be like, oh, they're super teams, but teams will play really hard against them.
Yeah.
And, like, those super teams are going to have to take a few blows to the ribs to get through that. We don't have that anymore.
And what's worse about like the NBA now too is like you can get crazy. Like if you're taking 5 or 6 steps, they're not calling you traveling.
Mhm.
Like if you're LeBron James, they'll let you take 1 or 2 extra steps, right? So like it's just like you can't be lax on the rules with some players and the not. Like I get the NHL can be a little bit about that, like where you have or the NFL, you want to protect your quarterbacks, right? You want to protect the star players. Like Crosby was, his first 1 or 2 years in the league, he was diving. Right. And he was embellishing on hits. And then, he had the veterans come back saying you can't do shit like that. Right. So, like, I feel that's still an issue where there's a massive disparity in the NBA to its star players, where in like the NFL and the NHL, you get a little bit more calls because you want to protect those guys, but at least the rules are all out there. And then you also have like, you're also policing it online between the teams,
Yeah.
with the rule of thumb. Right.
Yeah, I know that makes sense. There's one NBA clip I always remember, and I forget who's in it, but it's one guy who basically like grabs the ball above his head and he's holding on to it. He doesn't dribble, and he just kind of brings it down low. It does like almost a circle, and the guy just literally knocks his head back like he just got shot, like he was like hit by the guy who shot JFK or something.
Mhm.
And that clip like basically sums it up for me. Is like, I know like in soccer there's a lot of it. I know like even in hockey too, like there's way less of it because hockey's a tougher sport. But like that one clip like kind of threw me off from, like you said, like the product's just completely different now. It's not that good.
And it's funny because the WNBA is getting all this attention right now, and the NBA is like it's going throughout the playoffs and stuff. But like the NBA is competing a lot more for people's eyes now, and you can see that's why the ratings are starting to just go lower and lower. There's more eyes, there's more options, and also you can watch stuff a lot easier as compared to like when you have to have satellite with a $500 package to get all the sports you might want to watch.
Exactly.
You know what's incredible, Terry, though, is like PWHL started last year.
Yep.
And like, I mean, from the fucking get-go, these girls were running each other.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like they knew that they had an amazing product, and they knew that they had to go out there and sell the league, sell their sport. We don't give a shit. We're going to play hard. We're going to play gritty. It wasn't just dainty girls out on the ice. Like these are professional fucking players giving it all like it's the Stanley Cup final in game 1 of a regular season. And it's been like that going into year 2 already this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes to that stigma of girls can't play sports. And it's like, our back's against the wall. We have to show that we're here and we're here to play. And it's like, the PWHL is awesome.
Yeah.
And some of the rules they've added are awesome. Like the jailbreak rule is one of my favorite rules in hockey. If you're on the penalty kill and you score, you get your player out.
Yeah.
Like that could make some sick celebrations. Like I think of Matthew Tkachuk last year where he scored the overtime winner and it's like, let's get out of here.
Right.
Similar concept. You score, you're going over to the box, like, let's get out of here. Like, come on, you're back. It's like dodgeball. You catch a ball, you're back.
Yeah, that's
in.
right.
Like,
That's right.
It's awesome. I love that aspect of it. And then even the draft this year, like they've got the draft down pat, I think, in the format for that, because as soon as you're statistically eliminated from playoffs, every win is important because those wins are what get you your
so you don't get
pick.
sandbagging, right?
Exactly. So no teams are selling. Everybody's playing hard to the end of the year. That I love, and I think that is what more sports need to do, so we're not seeing teams just start shitting the bed come, end of the season, February, March. We're just like, well, our season's over, so give up.
Yeah, that's
Gary Bettman said tanking doesn't exist, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about here.
How about to the Bruins?
Now, it's interesting because you mentioned the PWHL and how hard they can. Who competes harder? A girl on a PWHL team or Mitch Marner?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
PWHL, no question.
Yeah, no question.
You gotta put tiers to this. So it's Mitch Marner through games 4 through 7.
Yeah,
right.
Mitch Marner games 1 through 3 is good.
Yeah.
Mitch Marner for games 1 through 82. As soon as playoffs start, then he's gone.
Yeah, and it again, I kind of feel bad saying this, but I'm almost glad the Mitch Marner timeline for 2025. I mean, he's basically in his final year. He's like, I don't want to negotiate through the season, which fair. So you're right. And then it's oh, if you waive your no trade, you can go over and we can get Ranton. He's like, I don't want to do that. And now he's playing horrible these last couple games, like you said, games 1 through 3. Even the first round against Ottawa, he was decent, and now it's just this lackluster performance, he's not trying and stuff like that. And as a Habs fan, I'm just sitting back here and I'm just this is just pure chaos.
This is awesome. How are you not enjoying this?
But do you
I
not
love
feel
it.
bad a little bit,
No,
Jerry?
never. I will never feel bad for Leaf fans, bro. Are you serious?
Dude,
Not a
that's
chance.
why I'm literally in my funeral colors right now. I'm not even wearing a Leaf hat for a Leaf game tonight. It's just, I'm decked out in black because it's game 6 tonight, going to Florida, and I just do not feel confident about the Leafs winning tonight. I want them so bad, but I'm kind of doing the reverse of what I've been doing this week, and they've lost both the last games. And I just felt I had to go with the Blue Jays hat tonight and be out in black and just expect a loss.
So you think they're done? You don't think there's any gas in the tank, no drive?
Even if I was doing a $5 or $10 ticket, I just don't know how to take the Leafs tonight. I just don't. It's just I've seen this for the last 9 years. I'm losing my mind, and felt a little bit different here. Coming out of round 1 and then the first 2 games against Florida, it's things are different. Than Stolar's going out. I'm like, fuck, I've seen this shit over and over and over again. It's like a Broadway play and a tragedy that you just cannot stop from fucking watching.
Wow, Babs, you feel the same way? Are you kinda just over?
I turned the game off after the first period, the last game, because I knew.
And that was 1-0. That wasn't even that.
I just knew. It's a psychology thing. And once you dig into how the roster has been built up and stuff, you would think paper-wise that it'd be fine. Psychology thing is kind of built up here, and I think you probably have to move one of the stars out of the situation and try and build your team maybe just a tad bit different. But yeah, I don't like the position. I have a bet on I had a free bet, so I put it on the Leafs.
Right.
Leafs are plus 200 tonight
Yeah.
in a must-win game. I feel comfortable with that spot, especially because I'm not having to risk much of anything on it. But if you're a Leafs fan today, I think you can feel a little bit better than years previous, but you're going to have to look at how the roster shakes out for next year. We talked about the pieces last episode of who could Toronto bring in, how could they shake the things up to put themselves into the right spot. But you look at some of these other teams like Carolina, for example, and what they've been able to accomplish. You look at what Dallas has been able to do. You look at the teams like Winnipeg. It does seem like when Toronto's backs up against the wall, they fold a lot harder than some of these other teams who have had issues with folding when it matters. So
I just don't understand, when I see the DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever come out and they're like, Carolina's a heavy favorite in the East. I never fucking understand how Carolina is always 1 or 2 in the slots to be the favorite coming out of these. And I just realized it's it's really not about Carolina. It's just the fucking division that they're in and how the playoffs are set up. Like we were always playing Boston or Tampa Bay and now the Florida Panthers over the last 3 years. And it's just, it's crazy. If we had a different rotation in what we had to play in our bracket, I really do believe that this team would be able to get over the hump and get to the third round or possibly even the Stanley Cup final. And it's unfortunate that we just, like, our division is fucking stacked. Just like the MLB. Like, if you look at Toronto, they're playing Boston, Tampa, New York Rangers, or New York Yankees. So it's just, the division's just stacked against us. It's major markets.
And it's funny because you talk about their division being really easy. And, like, to an extent, yeah, it is. Because, like, I mean, you look at what Washington just did. And as a Habs fan, like, I love talking about this because, like, the Habs actually were close. Like, all those games were, like, 1-goal games that were close. And then the Caps go into round 2, and they just basically laid an egg. And I read the stat this morning. I was shocked to hear this. The Caps have only, with Ovi on the team, they've only made it past the second round once.
Yeah.
And that's when they won the cup.
They won the cup.
So, literally, I didn't know that was, like, that's insane. Like, you have the greatest goal scorer in history, and you made it past the second round once. Like, that's insane.
Ovi is a Devontae Smith-Pelly merchant.
Oh,
that's a name from the depths. That's my guy.
That's true, though.
That is very true.
The only time they actually cracked down and made their way through, it was thanks to him.
It's
That's
true.
crazy. I've never thought of that.
Crazy. Wow. That's insane.
I mean, clip that one. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's going to get people upset, but it's true. But to give Ovi credit, his team was really bad for a long time.
Yep.
And they had offensive firepower, but didn't necessarily have the back end pieces put together. And their goaltending was also a little shaky at times and stuff too. So you can't put a lot of the blame on Ovechkin. You can blame the Capitals organization as a whole. You can say because of that. But yeah, if you look at it, you put Ovi in a different situation with some of these other teams, and if you're looking at a lot more titles.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, just thinking about, like, who Ovi's played with in the playoffs. Like, Backstrom was good. Like, you talked about offensively, they're set. But, like, who's the most notable defenseman in the last 20 years for the Capitals? John Carlson.
Carlson, yeah.
After that, name one other, like,
Chara
for a season.
a hot minute. That's about it.
Okay,
like
Mike Green, offensive guy.
Oh yeah, okay,
right.
Yeah, offensive guy. Defensively, I don't know if I want Mike Green to be my shutdown guy.
Yeah, fair.
Name someone else.
I can't name anyone else. All I'm gonna say is I just found it hilarious that Caps fans were like, "Oh, like, Demidov only got 2 points in the playoffs. He's a bum," and the Caps are out, and he still got more points than Ryan Leonard, who apparently was the best prospect ever.
Yeah, no, I mean
it's
it's valid. It's valid. And like the ELC thing, people were discussing and stuff, and it doesn't seem nearly as as annoying because he was able to get his time in, and he's asked to make the adjustments and stuff like that. But you look at some of these other teams too, like the fan bases that are kind of like down bad, sad. Like Pittsburgh's one of them right now, and you see how much fun Crosby's having at the World Championships right now. Dude. And you look at it, we're wasting so much of his time and stuff there. But if you swap out Ovi and Crosby, that Pittsburgh team, I think, still has an equal to performance just based on the skill level of the player they would have had.
Malkin and Ovi on the same line.
I just don't know if I agree with that because of the style of Crosby compared to the style of Ovi.
I think they would have had an insane amount of goals, and they had that Pittsburgh team was built sound defensively. Gonchar at the time they had Hal Gill,
Letang, Brian.
God, yeah.
I
forgot
forgetting
about
his name,
Gonchar.
but he played so broken up, but he would crush guys.
Orpik.
Yes,
Orpik was
Orpik.
Yeah, so they had pieces. They had Fleury. Yeah. They had all the pieces in place up and down the roster.
And the other thing with that too is like I get what you're saying about like Crosby's the one center and he's like the perfect two-way center. But think about Malkin being the first line center. Like just that, like he always played in Sid's shadow a little bit, and just that, like if he was able to be his own first line center, like that, like true. Like I know Ovi's a star, but like that true number one center, like. I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, they wouldn't be as good two-way, but dude, that team would be scoring like that'd be McDavid Draisaitl level scoring.
Yeah, you'd have games finishing 7-6 every night.
But they had Fleury and Letang and Orb. Like
I
don't know if I agree with that, man.
Matt Cullen, Mr. Shutdown guy for the longest time. Like they had really that team was built up and down.
Yeah.
They were that was honestly it was fantastic when you really do think back about Pittsburgh and then you reflect on them now. It's sad, and their fans have to be down bad. But at least fans again like I don't know. Would you rather have consistent playoff disappointment or just like not even have a chance?
Yeah, that's true.
Probably not have a chance because then at least you have like the draft to look forward to.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like, well, we're not doing anything in playoffs. We're not going to get anything out of the draft. Like Hopefully Easton Cowan is going to be someone good for us in the future.
Yeah, because London just won, right?
Yeah.
London did just win.
Yeah.
Did you see that little spinorama pass thing he did?
Yeah,
Like a ballerina.
That was nasty, but that's on the defenseman too. Like,
Right.
come on, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But that's your Marner replacement right there.
Oh,
You hope-
Yeah.
So I would say Nyes steps into that Marner role, and then you get
Cowan's
Easton Cowan
fine.
coming in as like
Yeah.
your next
Yeah.
kid, right? But
yeah. I don't know if Nyes can be as good of a setup guy as Marner
He's
was.
just such a good power forward.
Yeah. But then I thought about this, and maybe this is stupid. What if Toronto went power forward, Matthews, and you really just try and shove it down teams' throats, and then you have your Mr. Shooter when his hand isn't broken, and I can almost guarantee you after the season's over, Matthew has a broken hand.
I heard it was back injury.
That was an also thing, but
Maybe it's still lingering type shit. Who knows?
But yeah, I think if you maybe Toronto builds up that if too bad Olin Nolan doesn't play hockey anymore, because I think that'd be
I think he's still collecting checks though.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I think he'd be the perfect guy to
Right.
slot in there for your tough, hard nosed guy. But yeah, fuck. Is there a fan base in sports period that's more down bad than Toronto right now?
Well, you could have said the same about and maybe switching off from NHL. Like you could have said maybe the Boston Red Sox before they won,
Yeah.
right? Or the Cubbies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're right there, and I think who's the other MLB team that hasn't won fucking forever? But I would say those two fan bases and those organizations, definitely could have been in the conversation with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
The Browns. The Browns are worse.
The Browns, yeah.
I
Okay,
throw
yeah.
the Cowboys in there. I think in terms of causing more frustrating situations,
But we did
the Cowboy think about every Cowboys game, playoff game.
right.
In the last 20
The Leafs
Yeah,
at least have
yeah.
won some playoff games.
Right.
The Cowboys, it's just
Yeah.
what was last year? Weren't they up by double digits?
The Cowboys I don't know.
They're like mid road right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just, but I grew up a Cowboys fan, unfortunately.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Exactly.
Nick. And so I grew up in the 90s, and I think they won 2 in 4 years, and they were close to a dynasty there, and it's unfortunate just what's happened really over the last like what Bab said, 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
And they just released their schedule, and I know we could talk about some of the team schedule releases here, but the Dallas Cowboys in the back half of their season this year coming up, so they play 5 or 6 teams in a row that all had at least 11 wins last year. So they have a crazy schedule coming up, and their organization kind of commented it on some of their players, and they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna just go out there and play our game. And I was like, you guys haven't been playing a fucking game in 10 or 20 years. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's happening with the Cowboys this year. But yeah, there was some pretty interesting team schedule videos that came out. So I know with the Miami Dolphins, right?
Yeah, so Tyreek Hill got mocked by the Indianapolis Colts, basically just a barge came up to a Dolphin with Hill's whatever, it might have been his number or his name on the back of the jersey, and was a police officer when he got pulled over, and they deleted it because people started lighting them up, and then Tyreek Hill tweets at them and goes why'd you guys delete that? I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
that
good on him.
No, it's good on
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's got a lot going on. So let's maybe they were punching down a little bit, but the funniest one I thought was the Chargers did their entire thing in Minecraft.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever convinced their boss to let them play Minecraft for months,
Was wild.
good on you, man. You got paid to
Yeah.
play some.
No,
video
you need to be
games.
put on a list. I
Like-
stand by that wholeheartedly.
I loved it though. Schedule release is good. The NHL should be doing this. I know it's not as because there's way more games,
But it's
they
fun.
They can
Yes.
play with the key dates.
Yeah.
The key dates of the rivalry games and stuff like that. I feel like the NHL could adopt more of this, or even pretty much all of the other sports probably should be doing.
Yeah.
It. Soccer, without a doubt, could.
Yeah.
Yeah, and NHL was not laying it on the line with their marketing department.
NHL's here's the link. Go look at our schedule. Find the game you want.
Yeah,
That's it. Whereas the Jaguars had Anthony Hall or whatever his name is, the guy that went viral for he'd pour the bottled water into a bowl with ice, and then every day,
Right.
5 times a day. He did the entire schedule. It was just his day, and they had little things in the back. I'm like, dude, what a way to just build off that, and everyone's just commenting they're either roasting them for doing that, or they're just this is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
And even if it's not hilarious, at least you took a shot, man. At least you didn't just post a link and go,
Yeah.
their schedule.
This is the
go look
schedule.
at it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
There it
Yeah,
is.
'cause-
Enjoy it.
Yeah, because the NHL puts theirs out, and then guess what? Half the games are blacked out. You can't find it. You can't find it fucking anywhere.
Oh, there's 82 Habs games. I can watch like 16 of them on Saturday night hockey,
exactly.
and Wednesday night hockey. Although one thing, and I know we weren't going to talk about this, I'm just going to bring up the Monday Amazon Prime stuff they did this year. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
Like, I loved it.
Commentators are meh.
Yeah.
But I do like that with especially that's the easiest click on to like get your game started to watch. And across like all of North America, just bing, bang, boom, your game's on. They didn't have buffering issues like Netflix has had with like their live stuff. Because I know some of the WWE people have been kind of complaining about that one as well.
Yep.
I'm not one of those people. Surprise, surprise. But and I know the UFC's been getting flack and stuff too, because like that's been a large issue with them is like this where and how you're buying the pay-per-view.
How much money you're spending as a UFC fan is insane.
Mm.
Like, hopefully they do ink a deal with Netflix. I've heard that they're really upset with ESPN with how everything's been, the price hikes. So hopefully they go a Netflix deal. They see WWE doing it. Aren't they owned by the same parent company now?
Yes.
So Endeavor. So yeah, like that would be the ideal route for a fan. And the cost would be insanely cheaper. Granted, Netflix prices will probably go up to $200 a month, but
Right.
Yeah, maybe they have like an add-on, but I think Netflix is looking to acquire users, and that's a good way to get. I mean, your average UFC watcher, are they necessarily a Netflix subscriber? They could stack things on that way, and they had success with some of the other stuff that they've done. But you look at like how things have evolved, and like remember when DAZN was like the thing, and like they were making a step. They've paired themselves back. You look at the lack of the success the PFL is having right now. There was a lot of like, oh, I need to subscribe to 5 different services if I'm a hockey, NFL, and MMA fan. That's started to like break down a little bit where you can kind of get away if like I can have a Sportsnet subscription and like that'll get me most of what I need to watch. Or you just pay for like the super NHL package on Sportsnet. And then you get your games and it's not like crazy horrible as compared to before. But if you're a soccer fan, like good fucking luck, bro. Fubo TV, One Soccer, TSN, Sportsnet, and I'm missing one in there. And
The
that's
Zone
just
has Champions League. Okay.
Jesus. I believe it.
Yeah, they do, because I just watched the Champions League on the Zone. So like, if my team's in the Champions League, I'm the Zone. If they're Premier League, they're Fubo. That's 2 right there. And then like, if you're a soccer fan, you're like, Real Madrid and Barcelona are playing. Yeah, I'll put on. I have to get another subscription.
TSN's the Liga.
Right.
That's it. TSN's the Liga. Yeah.
Streaming was the best thing until it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was amazing when it first started. It was like Netflix the only thing, and you're like, oh, everything is on here. This is awesome. And now every company, HBO Max and Max HBO, they all need to have their own fucking separate thing. It's like, where do I find anything now?
Yeah, because we had to like cut the cord from the TV, right? And then Netflix started at what, $4.99?
Yeah.
So cheap.
I think
They were encouraging
$22
password sharing
a month.
too.
Yeah.
They had like, there's a tweet from like 2017, like sharing is, or love is sharing passwords.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that, dude? They keep fighting me and my dad trying to share a Netflix account right now.
And it was also $5.99 with no ads.
Yeah.
Right.
Because now it's like, I think the base is $12.99, which my girlfriend and I watch. And I'm like,
And
I'm
you
not
get
giving them
ads.
$3 more a month. I don't care. I know it's $3. It's principle.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll watch your 30-second ads. I'll just go
Right.
on TikTok for 30
If
seconds.
it's a pre-roll, I'm fine because I'll get up.
Yes.
And that's my
exactly.
staying up
Yeah.
for
True, yeah.
So
Okay, well,
I have no
get a
issue
drink.
with like the pre-roll ads and stuff like that. And I know people bringing it back to sports. The on the line has been, just in people's heads because that's Sportsnet, especially if you're on the streaming service. That ad plays every commercial break. Personally, it doesn't bother me, but I might be a little bit on the spectrum.
I'm
I like the repetition. I don't know.
I'm losing. Like, why is there not a second fucking ad? Why can't you just have 2?
Yeah, just give us a
give me a
second one,
fucking
dude.
break.
I'll do
Give
ads
me
for
a
them.
Kit Kat. I need a break.
Like, I don't know what they should have, like user submitted stuff. They could like fill that space with content instead of
True.
like the same ads over and over. Or you see like an ultra specific ad to the area, and you're like, who told this furniture company to buy ads?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like 2 hours away from there, and like this has to be targeted marketing, but like it's kind of missing the mark a little
But
bit.
also, I want a new couch. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that could be.
Wayman's Furniture. Fuck, dude. Like, stop it.
I just love all the TikToks that are like when your team gets eliminated from the playoffs and you have to hear the lay it on the line
Right.
commercial again. Like, I think literally the theme of this playoffs is just that commercial for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's literally like I don't know the song off by head, but I just know that little chorus bit, and it just like I'm gonna go to sleep tonight, and I'm gonna start dreaming about like laying it on the line.
I listened to the full thing. It's actually a good song.
Is
Like,
it?
it's a good song.
Which is a shame because now everyone's making fun of it. But like,
I'm a fan.
True.
If they tour still and you're going to come to the area, I'll show up.
fair enough.
See what I used to love about the NHL, like in the 90s, early 2000s, like CBC and Don Cherry was on all that. They used to have the greatest Saturday night, like pre-commercial, like just before, the music came on and the whole production came on. Those were the type of videos that they used to do all the time. And I would there was some that were so emotional. It'd be like, slow-mos and just the perfect fucking music with it, and like old clips and great clips. And I just remember there's so many times that I caught myself crying because I'm so invested in hockey, right?
Yeah.
Sports in general. And they just knew how to do it. And I really feel like they've gotten away from their fan bases and people that really are passionate about hockey. And yeah, I just can't say enough about the decline of their marketing department over last 10, 15 years.
A lot of that falls on Sportsnet, but a lot of people also are just and they've been better. I like the panels they've had in the playoffs because it's guys that actually know what they're talking about and not saying retaliation has no place in hockey and stuff like that. Some of those takes were quite bad. I missed the Nickelback trailers.
Oh,
yes.
Just getting ready to go. And then Don would say stuff, and I learned a lot about hockey because of him. And yeah, we've got different pieces. Kevin's quite good at his job. I've got a lot of respect for him. And then some of the other people that are sometimes on the panel have said nice things to me, so they're great too.
I think Kevin Bieksa is probably, if not the best hockey commentator, or not commentator, but analyst, if you will. I think Kevin Bieksa is and he won an award his first year being an analyst for CBC and Sportsnet. But I think he's absolutely just incredible at what he does. He just knows the game so well. He comes across his presentation. Everything is so well with Kevin Bieksa. And it really kind of, there's a great diversity within the group, but Kevin really is the one that's, I think, driving the bus on that panel.
Yeah, I like him a lot too, and I think it's because he played, but it was fairly recent too, so it's still relevant. It's not like some guy from the night talking about it, which that is relevant when it comes to certain situations and stuff like that. The one you brought up, Nickelback, every Saturday night they'd play Saturday Nights All Right for Fighting in the background, and I just remember coming from an immigrant family, we didn't no one really watched hockey. And I remember when I told my dad I wanted to get into it, we started watching and that would come on, and it was Leafs Habs, and it was just the two of them beating each other up, or it was Montreal Boston, and it was the Tim Thomas and Carey Price fight. And I'm just I didn't cry like you, but I was I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now.
I wasn't a big pussy like you.
Oh,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, sports.
I'm sorry, I just love the game more than you guys.
Yeah, you got more. He's got more passion. That's what.
No, I have so much passion that I have to turn the game off. That's how much passion I have.
Fair.
My dad, I called my dad the morning after. And he's talking. He watched a little longer than I did and stuff, but he's just I'm starting to get kind of sick of this. And I'm yeah, you know what? Me too. If they hadn't the broadcast a little bit more fun, so if there was that spice that they used to have,
right.
I feel like you'd retain the viewers a little bit more. And I think they could do a much better job appealing to the younger audience by, adding a little flair and spice and the stuff that used to happen. They used to kind of get at each other a little bit more, and Don telling Ron to shut up.
Yeah.
It was the highlight of people's nights, or him saying people's names wrong constantly, or his just dislike of Russian people.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the European visors, and now everybody wears a visor, I think, except for one player in the NHL, I think.
There's four. There's Jamie Benn is one.
Yes. Ben, Reeves when he's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reeves.
Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay.
And I did a trivia on this a few months ago. This is fucking embarrassing.
I talked about this recently.
Pull it out from the depths, Babs. You don't got the fourth one?
No, I'm not. I'm the guy that asks trivia questions. I'm not the guy that knows it. I get the fog of war, and I forget a list that I've seen 7 times.
I do miss Don Cherry, though. As controversial as he was, that, Rock'em Sock'em Hockey have every single VHS tape that he has of Rock'em Sock'em. And Don was he was the fucking best, man. He was the man.
Yeah.
Right. And I know he had his podcast a year or so right after, but he hasn't really done much. But for being 91 or whatever, 92 or something, he still has an incredibly sharp mind. I'm getting Alzheimer's. I'm 41 right now.
No, I wanted he's somebody I looked up to, and you can say whatever you want about him, but again, at the same time too, you listen to the people who defended him after, and you think, oh, maybe people shouldn't have necessarily gone and said certain things about people, because you really evaluate people as a whole and what they've done for the sport,
right,
and the way that they treat other people, and I think that's why in some cases people have sort of been unfair to the commentators across the board right now, is because they're all just trying to play it a little safe because they don't want to necessarily
Yeah.
have that hot take. You don't want to be like the guy in Boston who was calling, I think it was a Patrick Maroon fat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So like you don't want to you want to do that, but you also want to be entertaining, and it's such a hard line for them to balance. Where you do have to give them like a fair amount of slack because they're like, oh, but if I accidentally say this and try to make a joke, I'm going to get kicked off
I'm gonna
TV
get
now.
roasted and never work again.
Yeah, exactly. And some of these guys they need that money, especially.
It's true.
A lot more people would
maybe
get
not
fired.
a COD lobby.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
yeah.
whoever is the Canadian Broadcast Corporation who the company that governs TV, I think it'd be over really fast. I do one thing I have enjoyed recently, and I've noticed it in sports across the board. They don't necessarily cut the crowd out when they're chanting bullshit.
No.
Or when a player curses on the ice, they don't go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for the families at home." Like the CBC doesn't like that type of language. They kind of got away with that. You'll hear the crowd chanting the stuff, especially if you're watching like a Pittsburgh game because they don't know how penalties work and just complain about this the entire time.
We need more Mark Scheifele's out there. You freaking idiot.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the funniest.
Never swears. You freaking idiot.
My favorite
so
one
funny.
is it's a clip. I don't know what the teams were. I know Brent Burns was in it, but it was like a face-off, and then someone shot the puck at Brent Burns, and it hits him, and you hear, fuck! And then Brent Burns shoots it and hits someone, and that guy goes, fuck! I'm just like,
It was so
perfect,
good.
man. This is
So
awesome.
good.
Yeah, fuck, man. Geez, and there it goes. See, I think that's one part that people kind of like have started to overcome, which is great. But society is like the odd like cursing and stuff. People be like, oh, you just swear, and now it's just like it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
No one's gonna actually like try and roast you over the coals because you said a bad word.
Yeah. But like guys like Biz Nasty, I think are doing a lot of help for the sport in that regards.
yeah.
Like he's hilarious. Him and Marchand have some of the best banter.
Yeah,
back
they
and
just
forth.
chirp.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think Marchand is going to be a guy when his career's done. He's going to slide into that role perfectly, and it's going to be awesome.
Mhm.
If you guys are Leaf fans, so you can't stand him, but if you watch any of the footage of him behind the scenes, he's awesome. He is a guy you enjoy.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if you guys have ever watched Shoresy, which is an incredible show that anybody should be watching. Canadian show up in Sudbury. But so Shoresy, he'll go on. He was an analyst after he retired from hockey. He was forced to retire from hockey in the show. And so they brought him against Avery in the Analyst, and they just kept chirping against each other for the ratings. And but yeah, if you haven't checked out that show's great. But just like you were talking about with Marchand and Bissonnette, Avery's also that kind of guy that just gets under your skin, and like you just want to have those guys for the personality, right?
Yeah.
I had nothing but respect for Brad Marchand. I'm a Leafs fan, but like I would do any. I love him to be on my team.
Yeah.
Fantastic player. The licking stuff, obviously, like that's fucked up. But I think you can evaluate that guy, from a non-biased perspective, and say like, every team in the NHL would take him in a heartbeat.
Oh, I would want him on the
question.
Leafs tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even
So,
a
like,
question.
First Leaf game I ever went to, it was Toronto versus Tampa back in Maple Leaf Square Gardens. And so when they were playing Tampa, it was Tucker. Oh my God, Darcy Tucker was on the team, and I remember saying to my dad, I was like, "I want this guy. This guy's incredible. I wish he played for the Leafs." And then like 2 or 3 years later, he joined the Leafs. I was like, "This is the
Colorado
fucking guy,
Avalanche
man."
legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
I loved him on the Abs.
fought out after 1 year, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
You too?
He was Mr. Like him and Zach
He
Hyman
had a
have
hot
some sim.
spot, dude. He
Uh,
just sat and
yeah.
ripped clappers. I loved it, dude.
He's the Mr. Goal Line. He just
Yep.
give me the puck, I'll tap it in.
Yes,
I
exactly.
met Darcy like twice. Met him for the Toronto Maple Leaf gaming event that we did for Lazarus Esports. But Tucker was there. Corson was there, and Tucker was he's just an amazing guy. Like just was so personable with everybody. Wanted to meet, see what's happening with the video games, what's going on. Met all the kids.
Nice.
It was just everything you wanted. Like they always say, like don't meet your heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Met Darcy Tucker, and like mine's like Felix Potvin, Doug Gilmore, Darcy Tucker. That's like kind of my 3.
Mhm.
And Darcy was everything you wanted him to be as a person and a hockey player. Like he
That's
just
awesome.
embodied everything you wanted.
When I met GSP, he was good. I walked up and just said, "Hey, you made our country very proud." Dapped him up outside of the win, and then he just said thanks, and that was very brief. But like you could tell, like he didn't feel like bothered by me coming up to him.
Yeah.
So I was nervous because if he had that's what was one of my heroes growing up, probably one of the best Canadian athletes ever. But yeah, circling it all back, if Toronto plays their cards right and you get Brad Marchand, I think the fan base would just everything is forgiven.
Yeah.
period.
Oh, 100%.
I think Boston would literally explode with anger.
Oh,
Like, every Boston Bruins fan,
Yeah.
would- there'd be a
Yes.
riot.
Would that be comparable to like Gretzky playing for the St. Louis Blues? Like just weird looking in that
Yes.
jersey?
Yeah.
It would be comparable to ranting and going to fucking Dallas.
I think it's worse than all of that. This guy grew up like hating the Leafs basically because you're on the Bruins, like playing, hating the Leafs, like beating them, and then you go over and join them. Like that's almost like Saquon Barkley. Like he just went over to the Eagles, like their arch rival, and then just like, I won a Super Bowl, now screw you guys.
Yeah. I mean, well, his big rival in the Leafs is Mitch. I shouldn't say rivalry because
Mitch won't be there, so that's fine.
Yeah, he owns the Leafs.
If you get Brad, you don't have Mitch.
Yeah.
So I think it's very interesting, and I shouldn't be talking about the offseason as a Leafs fan right now. It's probably not great juju, but we got to get into the cards because I want to find out what I have to do for my parlay today, and I'm going to take a deep breath before I do it this time because I don't want to go down the path. I could have loaded it up with minus 4,000s and had a better record on that board.
Right.
Am I selecting the card?
You're the card today.
Ooh.
Hi, it's Nick. I'm the producer. So big problem is the audio cut out from here for about 35 seconds. So what Babs was about to tell you was that he pulled the devil card, which is they have to make a parlay, a 6-legged parlay that equals to as close to plus 666 as possible, and it has to be a $6 bet. You're not going to see that because this podcast show recording thing is fucking difficult and nothing seems to work right in your first 10 episodes. So, to recap, 16 parlay, as close to plus 666 odds as possible, $6 bet. Okay, we'll go to the eavesdrop room now.
All right, let's see what our challenge card is. Only bet on teams with a losing record. The Leafs count? Okay, the Leafs technically count here. So let's get into it, guys. Here we go. So, do I trust the Leafs? Kind of. I have to go losing teams, though. So that's kind of a little scary. I mean, the Leafs are plus 180. Like, that's really solid odds. But I'm going to go MLB for... it's got to be 6. I totally forgot it's got to be 6. All right. I'm going to pull out... We're going to go double phone here because I need to pull out and, check everyone's record to make sure that I actually pick losing teams. Because we're going to do a lot of MLB here. I don't know MLB as well as I should. That being said... No, we're not going Celtics. I was thinking about going Celtics, but no, we're going to be safe here. All right. I'm sorry, Nick, you're going to have to scratch all of this. So because I have to bet on teams with a losing record, I am going to get a little cheeky with this because I think I just found a loophole. So we're going to go all baseball with this because that's only the real sport with the losing record here, as well as hockey. But I am going to bet on teams and have insanely good odds because I need to get this as close to 666 as possible. So what we're going to do is we need to bet on the losing team. So technically the Blue Jays do have a losing record. So the Blue Jays technically have a losing record. So technically, if I find the alt spread here, so we are going to take the Blue Jays plus 3.5 runs. Because if we take the run line here, those are going to be high odds, and that'll get us as close to plus 666 as humanly possible. So I'm liking this now. I think we found a loophole, guys. The Rays are also have a losing record, so we are going to go to the run line. We're going to do a lot of run line here, guys. We're going to take the Rays plus 3.5. I am loving this. These odds are going to be gold. So we're going to go through. The Red Sox, all the AL East teams have losing records. We're going to go for the Red Sox as well. This is beautiful, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if I go 6 for 6 with this. It's a little cheeky, but technically, I think I can get away with it because I'm betting on the losing team. It doesn't say money line. Nope, doesn't say money line. We're good, guys. All right, so that's 3 out of 6. Need a couple more. The Milwaukee Brewers also have a losing record, so I'm going to pick the Brewers, and again, we're going to do that run line. We're just gonna have a bunch of run line here, guys. And then I think even for the Leafs game, we might do a little something. So we'll go Brewers. We're going to go plus 3.5. We'll go plus 2.5 because I need to have some decent odds here. And now this is where it's going to get a little spicy. We're going to go over to the Leafs, and we're going to take the Leafs. I need puck line. I'm going to take the Leafs plus 1.5. That's a little bit of a ballsy one there. What are my odds right now? Plus 256. So I'm going to throw one more curveball in there. So this is my final cheeky one. We have the Washington Nationals playing the Baltimore Orioles, and both teams have a losing record. We love to see that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the Nationals plus 128 straight money line. That gets us to plus 712. I think that's decent. We're going to do that. We're going to lock in $6. We're going to win $42. Let's see how we do.
Woo! All right, let's go. Come back into frame. All right, so Babs picked bet 6-leg parlay $6, but the parlay odds must be as close to 666 as possible. So we got a definitely good challenge here tonight. So now I've got to pick my challenge card. Oh, let's go. All right, I haven't even read it yet. So, stack the deck. Draw 3 challenge cards, pick one, and place the other 2 back on top. First gold card, I believe. I don't know what Rahil did. So, I have to draw 3. So, 1, 2, 3. All right. So, we've got one bet must be determined by a coin flip. Must include at least one women's sports team or player. That's a good one, too. Bet must include one of every major sport. So, looking through, so let's take a look here at all the sports. This is interesting. I'm so happy I got the first gold collar challenge card. It's the advantage card. So, bet must include one of every major sport. So, let's take a look at tonight. One of every major sport. See, I don't know if I want that, because that could limit me. Must include one women's sports team or player. One bet must be determined by a coin flip. So do I go with the coin flip? I'm pretty concerned about that, because like that could fuck up me winning, but it could also be the reason that I win as well. So I think I'm going to go with at least one women's sports team or player. So I've got Babs and Terry to go next. So I'm going to take the must include at least one women's sports team or player. So that's the card I'm going to choose of one of my 6 legs that I have to choose of my parlay. All right, so let's take a good gander here. WNBA. So we've got the Lynx and the Wings tonight, Dream and Mystics, and we have to try to get as close as possible to plus 666. So I might take the favorite of one of these games. So I'm going to take the Chicago Sky against Indiana Fever. But my girl, Caitlin Clark, dude, she's the fucking MJ of the WNBA. So I'm going to take the Indiana Fever. And I'm just going to put the Atlanta Dream here, because once again, I kind of did like the whole Blockbuster video way back in the day. I'll take six VHS tapes to like the front counter, and then my parents will be like, you can only take 3 or 4. All right, so I'm going to make a number and then see where we're at. All right, so got the WNBA. Now we're going to go to the NHL. And like, as I said, on the Sofa Kings couch, I'm decked out in all black tonight, not even wearing a Leafs hat. I feel terrible for the Leafs tonight. But if I'm trying to get to plus 666, then I'm going to take the Leafs tonight. And I'm going to take the Jets. So let's see where this is all going to put me here in a minute. Now, WNBA. My Celtics. I'm a Raptors fan, but I mean, I bet that it would be OKC and the Celtics in the finals. And even though it's going back to the Knicks, and I know Timothy Chalamet with all the Jenners going on there, front court side, you know, I know there's been some juju. Spike Lee's in the house, obviously. Probably Jack Nicholson is going to be in courtside as well. I'm gonna take the Celtics. And I'll just see where OKC takes me here as well. Let's take a look. So I'm plus 3,000 right now. Okay. So let's take a look at some baseball and see if there's some heavy favorites here that I can take. Yankees and the Mets, absolutely not. So I have to get to plus 666, not 6666. Okay. Let's do... Oh, there's some good games. I don't like the Orioles over the Nats. I do like the Phillies. Okay, so that might help. Kansas City's been sneaky this year, man. How are the Cards doing? Oh, they're coming off 2 losses too. Kansas City. Rangers. Rangers are on a winning streak. Might take the Rangers to bring down my bets. Arizona. Dodgers have been picking it up here. So I might go with the Dodgers, so that might switch out some of my bets. Cubs and the White Sox. Okay, so now let's take a look here. So now we got to remove at least 5. At least 5. I'm just not confident with the Leafs, man. Celtics, that's going to be a dicey game tonight. That's going to be close. I still think the Celtics pull it out, but I'm trying to get the odds down. So let's do that. I like the D-backs. Dallas, man. Like, I might have to kill all of my NHL picks. Okay. So I like the Cubs, and I like the Dodgers, the D-backs. Rangers and the Stros. I'm going to take that out. Ooh, plus 648. Okay, so this could, but I'm still at 7. Shit. So I might have to kill one and bring back in one of my NHL picks. Who do I not like here? I like the Fever, and I like the Atlanta Dream. OKC, I think is gonna win. Let's take out the Phillies. So now we got to come back to NHL. Come back to NHL and oh man, can the Jets win in Dallas? Do the Leafs have a better opportunity of beating the Panthers tonight, or the Jets at Dallas? Fuck, and it's hard because I'm playing a chess game with my fucking head and my heart right now. This sucks. This absolutely sucks. Okay, so now I got to kill one of my minuses. So Cubs over the White Sox. For some reason, I know that the Dodgers are a fucking heater right now, and they're playing really well, and their pitching has been incredible. But there's just something that I don't like here. So I'm going to remove the Dodgers. I'm close. I'm close. Maybe if I had a smaller favorite. Damn, it's really close. You know what? I can't get in trouble for going over plus 660. If I was below, that would be an issue. So I got the Fever, the Dream, the Thunder, the D-backs, the Cubs, and the Jets. The Jets have to fucking pull through for me for like tomorrow night's game. So $6 bet. I can win $48.51. So I think I'm gonna go with that. So first advantage cards in Sofa King sports history. I included my one women's sports team or player, right? Which I've got here. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. So 6 legs, $6, close to 666, and I'm above. So I'm going to take that bet, and we are fucking locked in. Let's go, boys. I'm number 1 for a reason. I'm number 1 for a reason.
All right, let's get right into here. Draw my card. I got lucky yet again. That must include one of every major sport. Football isn't on right now, so we'll substitute that. We've been saying soccer is the major sport. I'm just going to put golf in there, and if they say something, they say something. So, we'll start with golf. Best way to do it, most likely, would be to take Scotty top 10. Yeah, here, let's just do top 10s. Scotty top 10 minus 900. Everyone else has minus 800. Odds moved. Minus 800. So that's actually that's not horrible at all. NHL. No, I'll go WNBA. WNBA first. And we'll take Caitlin Clark and the Fever to beat the Chicago Sky minus 310. Probably the best bet there. So that gets me 2 legs. I'm trying to get to that 666 spot and every major sport. I'll go to the NBA, and I will take if I have alts available for Sunday's game. First half, maybe. Yes, first half alts. Nuggets plus 14.5 will be my NBA leg in the first half. Yeah, Nuggets plus 14.5. First half alt spread. So I've got 3 legs done right now. Ooh. I have to add baseball. This Reds game's live. I won't touch it. Do we have a big favorite in baseball? Phillies over Pittsburgh. Minus 245 on the money line. That goes down in 16 minutes. Okay, I've got 4 legs. Let's check my odds real quick. Plus 416. Okay, so I have to add something with a little bit of spice. NHL. I'll go the Jets plus 1.5 minus 215. Okay, so now is the question: is adding something? What does it make my parlay do for the 6th leg? I need something with. Yeah, okay. So minus 120, I think, is going to be calling my name. I've got my major sports right. I've got golf, women's basketball, men's basketball, hockey, baseball. So this is a free leg for me right now. I'll add soccer to this, and then that way I'm crossing and checking all of my I's and crossing my T's. Prem on Sunday, no. Yeah, maybe I take Brentford. 619, no, I still need something a little closer. I don't want to cheat. I want to get close to the number. Plus 112 is probably too high. Yeah, this last leg, I need a plus 110. Yeah, some of these games aren't looking so hot. But what if I go MLS? Because we got MLS this weekend. Yeah, they getting that done. No, plus 105. We'll do this. Okay. So I'm going to take the New York City FC, and they're playing a derby game against New York Red Bulls, plus 105. So the quickest recap here, Scotty Scheffler, top 10. Then I've got Indiana Fever money line, Clayton Clark. I've got Denver Nuggets, plus 14.5 first half, alt spread, which I think will be good. I've got Phillies money line. Hopefully that goes my way. Jets, plus 1.5. And then, New York City money line on the 3-way, so I'll put my $6 bet in here. And bingo, bongo, boingo. I have made my wager.
All right, bet $6, but the parlay odds must be as close to 666 as possible. So totaling 666. I think we can make this work. That doesn't seem too hard. The challenge card is not MLB. Oh, again? One bet must be determined by a coin flip. Let's fucking go. All right, let's keep that on the side for now. Let's take a look at our sports here. Ooh. Starting in basketball. We'll do this. New York Knicks. They're the favorite. Start there. I want to take Denver. I'm going to take an easy one, I think. Score. No, we want rebounds. Where's my rebounds? Okay. Minus 4,500. That's something. That's not what we want. Minus 1,200. Minus 340. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. We're getting somewhere, actually. Now. Alright, yo, chick. That's my boy. Let's go take a look at some hockey games now. I think the Leafs are going to win. I hate saying that. It kills me inside to say that I think the Leafs are going to win, but... Oh, I don't want to click that. Fuck, I feel dirty. I do think Dallas is going to win, so I want to take some other stuff here. Rantanen to get a point. Let's take a look at how our... Ooh, we're at plus 694 right now. This isn't looking bad. Okay, what else do we have? Is there anybody else? Ooh, I like Thomas Harley for a point as well. He's been fantastic, I said that. Let's take a look at where we're sitting at the moment. Okay. We're plus 1,200, so that's not good. Let's see if there's something that we can... A shot on goal. Rupee Hintz, all he does is shoot. Let's see if that brings us somewhere. That made it worse? That doesn't even make sense. Alright, we're going to get rid of that then. I thought that was going to help us. Thought minus 950 was helpful. Apparently not. Okay. Let's get out of hockey, maybe. Let's go over to MLB and see what we got. Who is playing here? Where's the Rockies? Okay. Diamondbacks. Oh, no, maybe not. I had to take some massive favorite right here. Wait, where's international hockey? Let's take Canada to beat up on some scrubs. Where is international hockey? What the hell? All sports. Here we go. Ice hockey. No, wait. IIHF. That's what we want. USA, Germany, Sweden over France. Ha ha ha. Even that doesn't help me. Are there any other that are crazier than that? USA over Kazakhstan, Switzerland over Hungary. Geez, some of these are terrible. Alright. Maybe we just take that. There's no chance Hungary wins, right? Even this, I think I'm going to get rid of one of these and try to clean this up a little bit. Let's see what we can find. Let's go one more actually back here. That doesn't do it for me. That's close, though. Let's try... Canada over Finland? Is that going to do it for me? No, goddamn. I'm getting so close. I just can't hit the mark on that 666 right now. Okay. Finland, Slovakia. Is that it? Killing me right now, I swear to God. I gotta find one that's gonna bring me closer. I keep going to 519. This is the worst. Actually, this might... That's it, right there. We take Canada over Sweden. But wait, what day is that game? That might be too far in the future, unfortunately. Jesus! Alright, we'll find something closer. Okay, that's right there. Slovakia over Latvia. That's not that bad. And then 684. Okay, now we can finally lock it in.
Hey, it's me again. I bet you didn't think you'd see me twice in an episode. See, the thing is as I said earlier, this production thing is really hard. And apparently technology doesn't like to work when you've been recording for over an hour and a half. So the audio didn't work. But I can paraphrase what the boys said. Essentially, they said this was really hard, as in the Parlay Challenge. The Leafs are going to probably win game 6 and then lose game 7. And Charlie was, having a panic attack as a Leafs fan, saying that, being a Leafs fan sucks and everybody, everybody's out to get him. And then Terry said, fuck the Leafs. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. If anybody knows how to fucking, make audio work, you just comment down below. And we'll see you in episode 4.